Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very interesting video where I would like us to discuss about a meeting that has just happened between the President of the United States, that is Donald Trump, and the Prime Minister of Israel, who is Benjamin Netanyahu. So, already when I mention those two names, I know you already know what we'll be speaking about, because if you have been following politics, you already know that just some few hours ago, a meeting was completed between the two, and they came out and addressed the public, and some information has been revealed on what specifically was spoken about in that particular meeting, highly involving Gaza, the UAE, and a number of things were mentioned. And I think this is a topic which we must approach very carefully, because I want us by the end of the video to have already understood, to be in a way that we can tell what exactly is going to be happening in the next coming days, weeks, or even months. So from whichever place you're watching this video from, feel welcomed, feel at home. I know this is something which is not one of my usual videos to bring, but this is just for a select few. If you're watching this video, then know you are one of the select few who follow maybe international politics, and I think this is a segment that would be good if we bring it out there. I understand that it might not be for everyone, but the few people who will be watching, this is something which I believe they will enjoy, they will appreciate, and I'll try my best to bring to you the latest things which are happening. So, the thing about Israel and United States, if you ask anybody currently, they are going to say that USA is currently the biggest, best friend to Israel, and this because of a number of reasons. As we look back, or judging from past events, USA has come out publicly a number of times to support Israel, to side with Israel. That is, even though most other countries have decided, no, we are not going to associate with ourselves with this particular country, with these particular things which are being done, and they have decided to go on their own. Also, most Kenyans, and not even Kenyans, most people across the world have decided to side with Gaza, which will be highly, which we are going to be mentioning a number of times in our today's talks. Most people have sided with Gaza, saying that Israel is not doing good to them, is not doing justice. What they are doing is inhuman, and a lot of things have happened. And I have to say, judging from the videos which people saw across the world, the videos which were coming from that particular part of the world, it's very inhuman and quite concerning and unfortunate that that's where sometimes politics takes a nation. So today, a very important meeting took place. This meeting between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister for Israel. Donald Trump, when I think a few days ago, he appeared before the United Nations General Assembly. He spoke about how he has managed to end about 7 wars, mentioning a number of countries which were fighting, but currently, after just some few months in office, either the war has ended, either there are talks going on how the war is going to end, and this war between Israel and Gaza is one of them. And it seems like he has really made a big step. We must congratulate him on that. What he has ended up doing today shows that there is actually something happening. There are there is a progress. So during the meeting, a number of things were mentioned, including a 20 points agreement, which, if followed one by one, will result to the complete end of the war between Israel and Gaza. I would like us to go through the points, and by the end of the video, we will have understood what exactly happened in this very important meeting. And I would like you to watch this video to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time you're watching this video, or you're watching a video from this channel, this is Duffy Updates, a place where I bring to you latest political news from around the world. As I mentioned earlier, I know this video might not be for everyone, maybe for the people who consume international news, or for the people living in the United States. I know this is for those type of people. But to my normal Kenyans, my usual Kenyans who usually watch local politics, I also have something for you, and we are still going to continue with our usual program of uploading normal content of Kenyan politics. But this one, if you watch, it's okay. But I believe the place where the world is at the moment, people have to understand what is also happening out there. It's no longer about the Kenyan politics alone. We also have to dig deeper and find out what is happening out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, if this is your first time watching a video from this channel, feel welcomed, feel at home, and you can join our community by clicking the subscribe button under this video. Also, if you like our updates, kindly give this video a thumbs up so that it can be recommended to more people across the world. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it will help a long way. So thank you, and with those many remarks, let us dive right into today's update. And for you to understand what exactly I'm talking about, I'll have to share my screen with you. So according to the picture that you can see there, that is the picture of where the whole problem came from. That is a picture of Gaza. The part where I know a lot of people already know the map of Gaza. So this here is what has been happening. It's also some type of a plan which will lead to the end of Gaza war. So first of all, you have to ask yourself, why has there been a war between Gaza and Israel? The reason is very simple, and at the end of the day, it ends up being financial reasons. So across the border, or along the border between Gaza and Israel, it is believed the area is very rich with minerals. And apart from that, when you go to the other side of the Mediterranean, it gives Gaza the access to the Mediterranean Sea, which is mostly used to bring in new products, to bring in like a lot of things usually happens when a country is directly connected to a water body. So Israel has been for a very long time wanting to own Gaza, to make Gaza part of itself, so that it can be able to control and get access to the water body. So I think those are the major reasons. And because of this, the people of Gaza have been trying to stand on their ground and say that Gaza is our place. We are not going to be colonized or anything like that. But here is a plan which has been talked about today, some few hours ago at the time of recording this video, and it is believed if everything is followed to the letter, the war is going to end very soon. So this is, you can see, the blue line represents the IDF current line of control. So the yellow line represents the initial withdrawal during the point where hostages were released. Then I think the dark red line is the second withdrawal when ISF mobilized the per standard set in Trampran. Then the black line with a lot of lines is the third withdrawal, where security buffer zone will be praised, I think. So let us go through this. A number of people are saying that United States is being controlled by Israel, and that Israeli Prime Minister is messing with Donald Trump. And it is believed in a secret meeting, in a secret event, private event, let me mention that. The Israel Prime Minister was quoted saying that he is the one pulling the strings between the talks involving him and Donald Trump. You can see Netanyahu denies Carlson's claims of controlling Trump during White House Gaza talks. So according to this report, this podcaster came out and revealed that this is what was happening, but today Netanyahu came out and denied what the podcaster Carlson claimed. So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected accusations from podcaster Tucker Carlson that he privately boasted about influencing US President Donald Trump, calling the claims a ridiculous lie. In a Fox News interview on September 28, 2025, the denial came ahead of Netanyahu's White House meeting with Trump on September 29th, where they agreed on a 20-point US-backed plan for the Gaza ceasefire, hostage releases, and Hamas reform, with Trump pledging US support if rejected. Carlson's September 27th video alleged Netanyahu's statement to regional leaders damaged US interest, sparking online reactions but no legal response kutoka kwa Netanyahu. So this is what happened. They met today. You can see they are talking. That is the compound around the White House. They sat down and made some conversations. It was a very high profile meeting, and a lot of things were spoken about during this particular event. So it seems to have been a very fruitful one. It seems to have been a very fruitful engagement, and out of this engagement, a number of things were heard. For example, you can see today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting. We discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. So, for example, Trump was heard saying that today marks a very historic day, and it's quite a big day for Israel, for the United States, for Gaza, and the Middle East. So I'd like us to listen to this particular video of Donald Trump speaking about what today represented, and then we are going to continue with our updates.
So this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. At least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East, and let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible, incredible. Every single one of them.
So, as you have heard in that particular video, you can hear Donald Trump saying that the meeting marked a very important part of the whole thing that has been going on, but everything takes us back to peace. Peace in Gaza, peace in Israel, peace in the Middle East, and everything going back to how it should be. At the same time, they had mentioned earlier that if you ask anybody today, he is going to say, or any person is going to say, that USA is currently the best friend for Israel. And I think what Netanyahu said in this video, which I'll be sharing with you, cements that allegation. Kindly listen to this video, and then we are going to continue with our update.
And second, I want to thank you for your friendship and for your leadership. From Jerusalem to Tehran, from the Golan Heights to Gaza, you've proven time and again what I've said many times. You are the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And Mr. President, you and I both know it's not even close. While you focus at home on making America great again, your leadership abroad is changing the world for the better, ending wars and advancing peace. I believe that today we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East.
So in that video, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that Trump is really trying and should be given his flowers, because as he is trying very hard to make America great again, he is also influencing highly on a positive outcomes of bad things that are happening across the world. For example, ending wars in different countries, and this is something which most people, I think, have not given him enough credit for, because I believe the influence has quite been felt since the Trump came into power. The last video that I would like to share with you before we go to the 20 points of which were talked about at the meeting or were decided, is this video of Donald Trump referring to Benjamin Netanyahu. I think we can say to a hero, saying that Israel is actually very lucky to have him. I don't know what we can say about that, because when you picture how the majority view Israel at the current time, I think most people won't agree with what the president of United States said. The fact that it is said that even when Netanyahu was traveling to go to New York for the United Nations General Assembly, he avoided some countries, or passing through the airspace of some countries, because he can be arrested and taken to International Criminal Court because of crimes against humanity. I think the fact that it has reached to that level where if he goes to certain countries, he can be arrested. If it gets to that point, I don't think that, although this is an open forum where anybody is entitled to have his or her own opinion, I'd like to really know what you think of what the president is going to say in this particular video. Kindly listen to it.
Israel's lucky to have him. I think it's a very popular thing you do, because he's a warrior. He doesn't know about getting back to a normal way of life, but he is a warrior, and Israel's lucky to have him.
So as you have heard, you can hear the president saying that Israel is actually very lucky because of having him. So after we have talked about all that, we have to end by going through what was finalized in these talks which happened. What is actually going to be done to make sure that there is peace in Middle East, there is peace in Gaza, in Israel, and in the whole thing that is involved in this particular thing. So, as you can see, President Donald, courtesy of Rapid Response 47, President Donald J. Trump's comprehensive plan to end the Gaza conflict. So, 20 points were decided on. The first one being Gaza will be a deradicalized terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. So for people who don't understand what deradicalized mean, I'd like to read for you. So deradicalization is the action or process of causing a person with extreme views to adopt more moderate position on political or social issues. So Gaza will be maybe forced to adopt more moderate positions on political or social issues. So that is the first one. Gaza will be a deradicalized terror-free zone that does not pose a threat to its neighbors. The second one, Gaza will be redeveloped for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have suffered more than enough. So we all saw what happened. Everything is destroyed. Buildings have been flattened. Everything is down. So the point number 2 says that everything will be developed again, and this is for the benefit of the people of Gaza who have already suffered more than enough. Point number 3, if both sides agree to this proposal, the war will end immediately. Will immediately end. Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed upon line to prepare for a hostage release. During this time, all military operations, including aerial and artillery bombardment, will be suspended and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met for the complete staged withdrawal. That is point number 3. We are going to go a bit fast because I believe the points are self-explanatory. Point number 4, within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement, all hostages alive and deceased will be returned. Self-explanatory. Point number 5, once all hostages are released, Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7, 2023, including all women and children detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage whose remains are released, Israel will release the remains of all of 15 deceased Gazans. Point number 6. Once all hostages are returned, Hamas members who commit to peaceful coexistence and to decommission their weapons will be given amnesty. Members of Hamas who wish to leave Gaza will be provided safe passage to receiving countries. Point number 7. Upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip. At a minimum, aid quantities will be consistent with what was included in the January 19, 2025 agreement regarding humanitarian aid, including rehabilitation and infrastructure like water, electricity, and sewage, rehabilitation of hospitals and bakeries, and entry of necessary equipment to remove labor and open roads. Point number 8. Entry of distribution and aid in the Gaza Strip will proceed without interference from the two parties through the United Nations and its agencies and the Red Crescent, in addition to other international institutions not associated in any manner with either party. Opening the Rafah crossing in both directions will be subject to the same mechanism implemented under the January 19, 2025 agreement. Point number 9 is this quite a big one. Gaza will be governed under the temporary transition governance of a technocrat, a political Palestinian committee responsible for delivering the day-to-day running of public services and municipalities for the people in Gaza. This committee will be made up of qualified Palestinians and international experts with oversight and supervision by a new international transitional body, the Board of Peace, which will be headed and chaired by President Donald J. Trump, with other members and heads of state to be announced, including former Prime Minister Tony Blair. This body will set the framework and handle the funding for the redevelopment of Gaza until such time as the Palestinian Authority has completed its reform program. As outlined in various proposals, including President Trump's peace plan in 2020 and the Saudi-French proposal, and can securely and effectively take back control of Gaza. This body will call on best international standards to create modern and efficient governance that serves the people of Gaza and is conducive to attracting investment. That is point number 9. On point number 10, a Trump economic development plan to rebuild and energize Gaza will be created by convening a panel of experts who have helped birth some of the thriving modern miracle cities in the Middle East. Many thoughtful investment proposals and inciting development ideas have been crafted by well-meaning international groups and will be considered to synthesize the security and governance frameworks to attract and facilitate these investments that will create jobs, opportunities, and hope for future Gaza. Point number 8. A special economic zone will be established. This is point number 11, pardon. A special economic zone will be established with preferred tariff and access rates to be negotiated with participating countries. Point number 12. No one will be forced to leave Gaza, and those who wish to leave will be free to do so and free to return. We will encourage people to stay and offer them the opportunity to build a better Gaza. Point number 13. Hamas and other factions agreed to not have any role in the governance of Gaza, directly or indirectly, or in any form. All military, terror, and offensive infrastructure, including tunnels, and weapon production facilities, will be destroyed and not rebuilt. There will be a process of demilitarization of Gaza under the supervision of independent monitors, which will include placing weapons permanently beyond the use through an agreed process of decommissioning and supported by an international funded buyback and reintegrate program, all verified by the independent monitors. New Gaza will be fully committed to building a prosperous economy and to peaceful coexistence with their neighbors. Point number 14. A guarantee will be provided by regional partners to ensure that Hamas and their functions comply with their obligations, and the new Gaza poses no threat to its neighbors or its people. Point number 15. The United States will work with Arab and international partners to develop a temporary international stabilization force, ISF, to immediately deploy in Gaza. The ISF will train and provide support to vetted Palestinian police forces in Gaza and will consult with Jordan and Egypt, who have extensive experience in this field. This force will be the long-term internal security solution. The ISF will work with Israel and Egypt to help secure border areas along with newly trained Palestinian police forces. It is critical to prevent monitors from entering Gaza, munitions from entering Gaza, and to facilitate the rapid and secure flow of goods to rebuild and revitalize Gaza. A deconfliction mechanism will be agreed upon by the parties. We are almost nearing the end. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. As the ISF establishes control and stability, the Israel Defense Forces IDF will withdraw based on standards, milestones, and timeframes linked to demilitarization that will be agreed upon between the IDF, ISF, the guarantors, and the United States, with the objective of secure Gaza that no longer poses a threat to Israel, Egypt, or its citizens. Practically, the IDF will progressively hand over the Gaza territory it occupies to the ISF according to an agreement they will make with the transitional authority until they are withdrawn completely from Gaza. Save for a security perimeter presence that will remain until Gaza is properly secure from any resurgent terror attack. Gonna take a cup of a glass of water. These points turned out to be quite long ones, but I hope you are following. We have 3 more to go. In the event Hamas delays or rejects this proposal, the above, including the scaled up operation, will proceed in the terror-free areas handed over from the IDF to the ISF. That's point number 17. Number 18. An interfaith dialogue process will be established based on the values of tolerance and peaceful coexistence to try and change mindset and narratives of Palestinians and Israelis by emphasizing the benefits that can be derived from peace. 19. While Gaza redevelopment advances and when the PA reform program is faithfully carried out, the conditions may finally be in place for a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood, with which we recognize as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. The last one, the United States will establish a dialogue between Israel and the Palestinians to agree on a political horizon for peaceful and prosperous coexistence. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are the 20 big points which came out of several hours meeting which happened in White House between President Donald J. Trump and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This video is quite a long one and I hope that you have watched to the end. I hope the points have come out in a way that you can understand them, but if maybe I was too fast, you can just take the video back and watch the point one by one. If you want to read for yourself, you can just pause the video and read through the lines. I believe you will get the actual story, but that's it for now. I'll be back with more updates. Thank you for watching. Kindly, before you leave, make sure to join us by clicking the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. Bye bye.